Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, but we're here to bring you a little bit of light and a little bit of joy, because I'm Bradley, and once again I'm joined by the lovely Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Trying to be lovely, trying every day, trying very hard. And sometimes succeeding. I don't know. I have to ask my wife. She's the arbiter of these things, but I do my best.
She decides if you're lovely or not.
That's right. Yeah. Naughty or nice, all that caper.
She's always on the phone to me complaining, Stu, so,
Not surprised, to be quite honest.
She's not. Just in case. I don't want you having through your head going, oh, God, are they having some kind of sordid affair from, 300 miles apart? What's going on?
Just a criticism of me kind of affair, It warrants it.
Not at all. Not at all. Are you happy to play amateur psychiatrist for a couple of minutes, Stu?
Certainly. Happy to give it a go.
Excellent. So, I've been having a series of dreams this week, recurring. So, to give a bit of context, have you heard of a certain gentleman called Ron Jeremy?
I have. A very famous one, yes.
Yes. So, you might have an idea where this might be going, but it does go a bit left field, so it's not going where you think it's going. For those who may not be aware of a certain Ron Jeremy, he's a mustachioed gentleman, quite short, who is in the adult industry. Some likes to say that he likes to play with wood, and he likes meat, not to be confused with Ron Swanson, of course, who's also mustachioed, not that short, also likes to play with wood and loves his meat. Just
yeah.
Just in case people got confused. But anyway, so series of dreams about Ron Jeremy. You might think you know where this is going. You don't. Okay? So, Ron Jeremy is not a famous porn star in my dreams. No. Ron Jeremy has a series of basically mundane jobs. Me and him are mates. So, on a Monday, I went into the bank, and Ron Jeremy working in the bank. He's working as a teller. Now, this is Ron Jeremy, still got the hair, the moustache. He's still a bit chubby and everything. And he's got the accent and all that, his American accent. Going into bank, he's just a teller. He's not even a bank manager. He's just a bank teller. The old dears love him because of his accent, and he's a bit, a little bit of a chappy. And they love him. No mention of his cock or anything like that. All right, he just gets on with his job, works in that West, gets on with his job. Really lovely guy. I get to him, lovely guy. Do my business. I pay in £10 because not megabucks. Pay in £10 to the bank. See you, Ron. See you, Brad. Off I go. That's the dream. Tuesday, he's a quantity surveyor. I don't know what a quantity surveyor is, so I don't see him at work. No, instead, we go and have a cuppa at the local cafe. Get to Wednesday. He works in a supermarket. Not on the tills, not important enough to work on the tills. Not an area manager or anything like that. He works out the back. Doesn't even get to do the forklift, okay? He just works, he unloads the lorries, puts the stuff on the shelf. That's it. Thursday, Ron's not around. What's on? He's lost his job. He hasn't got a job. It's like, where is he? He's down the job centre. He's there and he's chatting away. Right, the racists love him. There's a bunch of racists there. The guys, the left wingers love him because he doesn't care. He just doesn't do politics at all, Ron. So everyone loves Ron. He gets there, he just goes, I'm happy to do any job you want. And they go, all right, you ever thought about acting, Ron? And he goes, do you know what? It's not for me. Got anything in a library? And they go, yeah, we've got something in the library. You go work in the library. And that was it. That was the week's streams with Ron Jeremy. Monday jobs, having a chat. That was it. Nothing about his giant penis. Nothing about his porn history. Nothing. He just worked a series of Monday jobs and we had a chat. What?
Okay, that is bizarre. Well, two things. First off, I thought this was a setup for a really big gag. I thought you at the end.
I honestly thought it was a setup for. I was going to have a dream last night, and I thought this is it, right? He's lost his job. He's gone in. They're going to offer him adult film star. No, nothing.
No, I thought it was going to end with.
No, there's no gag either.
Yeah, I thought it was going to end with something like, "Well, the only job we can offer you is a blow job," but that's weak sauce. But no, so I think, put my psychiatrist hat on. I would say that this represents...
Get professional help.
Yeah, do it now. But Ron Jeremy represents your overwhelming sexuality, you see, and your body, your brain is telling you that you need to calm down your Lothario ways and get a more stable situation going. Hence the mundane jobs, you see. So it's just your brain trying to reel you back in from being quite the sexual conquistador that you currently are, I think.
I mean, the closest thing I've got to Ron Jeremy is the gut. That's about it. I don't even know if the moustache, the long hair. I'm not a Lothario. I'm far from it. I look at the idea of doing that now and I'm like, too much effort. I've not even thought about Ron Jeremy for years.
Yeah, I mean, what sticks in my mind is when he was dressed as Mario, because somebody on our forum had him as an avatar.
The Mario Paul parody, yeah. That wrecked many a childhood, I think.
Ron Jeremy wrecked my childhood. Yeah, I think that's true.
But yeah, honestly, no point to that. Dreams are boring. It is a boring dream. Why is Ron Jeremy in it?
So weird.
Something I've not thought about for years, and I have only ever thought about it when he pops up accidentally.
So weird. You've got problems.
I know. I'm talking of weird and problems. Video games, they're weird and many of them are problematic.
Sure.
The video game industry is probably more problematic than the porn industry.
Oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, it
depends if you work at Ubisoft or not.
Yeah.
So, ask the question, Stu, because I know I've got more than you. Downstairs. No.
As Ron Jeremy always says. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Come on, let's move on from Ron Jeremy because, I'll just get out of my head, Ron.
Yeah, go on then. What have you been playing?
So, the first game I've been playing, see my head's gone now, is Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, which is a third-person... It's not a Souls-like, but it kind of is. It's an action RPG, with like lots of narration to it, lots of like lore going on around it, where there are the two main characters in it. One's Scottish, and I can't remember the other one's accent, but one's like this Scottish guy, the other one's a black woman. So already half of people are turning off because we don't put black women in our games, reducing the white man down to a secondary role.
I'd be happy with him in a tertiary role, to be honest. Yeah, but yeah, go on.
He seems fine. Do you know what? The white male character seems fine. They both seem fine as a whole. It's a fine game. It's about all I can really say about it. It's like third person, as I said, the interaction between the two characters is actually really, really well done, and their story of their relationship builds throughout the opening hours that I've played of it. I don't know how many hours long it is, but if I was going to wait until I'm finished, I'll be waiting a long time because I'm playing this in sort of like fits and starts. But you've got like the big monsters that you would expect in a Bloodborne or something like that. I would say the battling, the actual fighting you do isn't as considered as a Souls one, which is why I can't put it as a Soulsborne type affair. It's a bit more actiony. I would say it's it kind of straddles that line between, let's say, like a Hades or something like that. It's all action, and a Bloodborne / Dark Souls that's more considered. It's kind of found a niche in between that. So, but you go through different environments, different biomes, story evolves, you meet different people, you upgrade because it's RPG-ish. So you do all your upgrades, better weapons, better abilities, meet new people, get to do new things, go to new areas, fight different types of monsters. All of that is in there. You have to make some really tough decisions, one of which I found, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything story-wise because I've said many times before, I don't do story in terms of trying to spoil story unless it's needed to set the tone of the game. Not needed here. It's a decent story with fine acting. Fine is about as I say about the acting, but it's a really good story. And the decisions you make do have consequences that work really, really well and make you consider what you're doing and how you're doing it, how you upgrade, how you interact with people, all that kind of thing. And yeah, it's just a really good, solid game. And it's one of those where I don't think it's going to be, it's getting like 9s and 8s out of 10 and everything like that. And it's, by pure stats, it should be one of those we go, no, this is Game of the Year discussion at the end. I don't think it'll be there as such, but I think it'll be fondly remembered. One of those. It's by Don't Nod. So, who I believe are the only palindrome publishers, developers out there. Maybe not, but I believe they
palindromic? Maybe. I don't know.
Palindromic.
I don't know.
There we go.
But
that thing where, even though palindrome isn't a palindrome, and that does my head. It's like abbreviations are really long words. I hate it. So don't do that. Anyway, but I don't know. So, yeah, the story and the development between the characters, that's going to be there based on their history. But it's like they've gone, right, Don't Nod have made an action game, and this is exactly what this is. Honestly, it's fine. It's not wonderful, but it's one of those where, do you know what, I'm going to keep it installed on the Steam Deck. I'm going to pop into it every now and again, play for an hour, forget it for a few days to a week, maybe go back and play another couple of hours. It's just one of those that will just be there. And yeah, it does its job really well. It's a Don't Nod game with action. And yeah, it's cool. It's just cool.
Yeah, so that's like, is that our first kind of more action-y focused one since Remember Me?
Possibly, yes.
That's a very long time ago, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
As good as... I don't... See, this will put people off if I say that. Is it as good as Remember Me? Because I know a lot of people didn't like Remember Me. But I've spoke before about how much I really liked Remember Me. It's very different. Remember Me is more Uncharted, I would say, with Don't Nod sensibilities to it, whereas this is more Bloodborne with Don't Nod sensibilities to it. So they are very, very different games, clearly. But yeah, it's one of those where I think they've deviated from what we know of them for, which is the Life is Strange series, where they're most famous, and gone back to trying other stuff. Yeah, and it's fine. 45 quid, which used to be full price, which is now not full price. So, AA pricing, is that now? A pricing? I don't know.
I guess.
But yes, 45 quid, which to me says, oh, that's like really expensive. But obviously, today's prices, we're looking at 70 quid for 60 to 70 quid for top budget games. So, it's cheaper than that. And it's probably better than Suicide Squad. And yeah, well, there's no probably about it. It'll be better than Suicide Squad at a fraction of the price. So yeah, get this.
What isn't? But yeah, no, that sounds okay. I have kept my eye on this one. It's one that I might get, but it'll be one further down the line because again, cheap. But yeah, it looks
also
interesting.
it screams either later this year or early next year Humble Bundle. In all fairness. But yeah, it's good. I'm glad I've got it. I don't know if I would have gone out and paid 45 quid for it. I got it for review, and I'm glad I got it sent through. And I'm glad I've got to play it. It does that weird Destiny thing, by the way. This is my one criticism I have, and I will point this out. But this is a personal thing. The way you do menus and everything has got that Destiny thing where you get a reticle where you control it with the left stick. Fine if you want that, but give me the option of just pressing the D-pad and jumping between options.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah, you got to move your left stick and then hold down the button. Just give me basic menu. I get why they've done it. It makes sense, but it's not needed. It doesn't add to the experience. And it's one of those things that it's like someone tried it once and everyone's going, we've got to get this to stick. For whatever reason, they're going, we've got to make this stick. And it's like, just don't do that. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that one. Yeah, I really don't like it. I think it's pointless. But yeah, there you go.
So before you get onto your game, I've got one more quick one I want to talk about, which fell on my lap and it's really, really, really intrigued me, and I do like it. Next up, I've been playing Quadroids. So, do you know you know what a puzzle platformer is, don't you, Stu? You know what a platformer is.
Yeah, I'm aware of them. Yeah.
Okay. So what if you had Mario? Right, we'll use Mario as an example, just the normal Mario, not previous Mario that we was talking about. You've got Mario, and he's running along his levels, doing his jumps, trying to get to the end. Now, what if I said to you, instead of just having one screen, you've got 4 different screens? And what if I said to you, that's fine, but we're also going to do it that you don't just control Mario on one screen or across 4 different screens as he jumps from bit to bit. What if you had to control Mario and Luigi on different screens at the same time? But what if I also told you that they're auto runners and each screen quadrant, because there's 4 quadrants, has its own button? And you have to press the button at the right time to get them to jump onto a platform, to jump between platforms, to wall jump, to get to the end, or move to another screen to get to their goal. What if I told you had to do that, Stu? Would your brain melt, Stu?
Do you know, just hearing about it makes me feel a little bit stressed, so...
Yes. Yeah. What we have here, though, and the reason I want to point this one out quickly, is get it? If you're into platformers, get it. Simple as that. That's where it goes, okay? It came out this week as of recording, so the 22nd of February it came out. Get it. It's really interesting. It's dead simple once you get going. So it introduces it first, going, this guy auto runs. Your little character, your little quadroidy fella, auto runs, and you'll say, right, now press left button to make them jump. Okay, so you make your character jump. Oh, sweet. Then it introduces the extra screens. It goes, right, now you've got these extra screens. So to make your character jump on the top left screen, you press the LB button. To make them jump on the bottom left screen, it's the left trigger. Right button on the top right, and right trigger on the bottom right, sorry. And it goes, that's the controls. So when they're on this screen, you press this button to jump. On this screen, you press that button to jump. And then it introduces 2 or 3 levels where you do that. And it's like, this is really simple. And then it adds... so it'll go through the first screen and it'll run on to maybe like the bottom right screen from the top left, based on how they're all laid out. So you have to watch where they're going. So it teaches you all these little things, and then it adds in another character. And one character might start in the top left, another character might start the top right, and their goals are on different screens. So you've then got to teach your character. You've got to learn to go, right, I've got to get this character to jump at this time on this screen, while this character jumps at this time on this screen. They will then go to different screens and then do this. And what you really get there is this great little concept of building you up to, right, it gets more complicated. And when you talk about how it goes, it sounds complicated, but the progression and the way it teaches you how each of these levels works and how the progression goes is sublime. It's a great example of, without literally saying to you, oh, this is how you do it, it teaches you as you go. Start simple and builds. And what I really like about it, and it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, some of the levels just are like, I can't be arsed with this. But on the whole, it's got this thing where there's 3 medals available. 1 just for completing a level, 1 for doing it with the least amount of possible actions, and then 1 for the time it takes you to do it. And each of those, so you might get a bronze medal on your time, but a gold medal for actions, for example. So you've got all these different little things in there that add up, that make it really replayable. There's a good variety of level design in there that progresses with difficulty and complexity. It's strategic in just the right way without taking away from the action and the platforming. And yeah, it's just a dead fun game, and it's about a tenner. But again, it's another one where I'll just, you know what, I'll have it on my Steam Deck and pop back to it now and again. Because now I've got the concept, it's dead simple. As complicated as it sounds from the outside, once you play it, it's brilliant.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds really intriguing, actually. It does sound stressful, but it also sounds intriguing. And I always like it when, people are trying to push the boundaries, do something a little bit new. And it doesn't frighten me off. And it's one of those things I will chuck a bit of cash at just to experience it. And I think £10 sounds about right. It's when it's that pitched level of like, yeah, I'll give that a go. And then even if you only play it for an hour or two, it's kind of met its quota kind of thing. So yeah.
It's £8.70 at the moment on launch discount. I'm glad that's become a thing, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
More and more, especially in the indie side. It's like all indie games seem to release with like a 10 to 25% launch discount. To like more of that.
It does help, definitely.
We said years ago, going, instead of rewarding people who wait a few weeks, reward those who buy it and then put it full price. And more and more people seem to be doing it. So, yeah, good on them. It's £8.70 at the moment. I've had more expensive tea and cake.
Yeah, precisely. Oh, very good.
Yeah. Also, not too many people buy it because I'm like in top 10 in the leaderboards in many other levels. So, you know.
Yeah,
but
don't buy it.
No, the reason I want to shout this out, and I'm probably going to stick this in next week's Indie Roundup as well, is its all-time peak is only 3 players. It deserves much, much more than that. It's only got 2 reviews at the moment. It deserves more. Give it some love. Get it out there. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it certainly sounds good. I will definitely stick that on the wish list, I reckon.
Excellent. Do it. So, anyway, that's me before I get to my main game afterwards. So, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a real curio this week. A game called Ultros, which is a indie Metroidvania. And it's got a good few quirks to it. Now, I'll talk about the gameplay quirks first. So, one of the things that it's got is you're an adventurer and it's using... at least mostly, and so far for me only, melee weapons. So it's not a kind of, it's more on the Castlevania side than on the Metroid side. And it's got all of a very kind of, fairly standard power-up type situation. So you got, dashes, double jumps, wall jumping, all that sort of thing that you can collect. All so far so standard. And it's starting to sound already like it's something well trod. But it really veers off that path, believe me. So the first thing is...
Okay. Because I looked at it and went, oh, this is like not another Teen Dead Cells movie.
Yeah, exactly. You would kind of think that, but it does enough different, believe me, it really does. And the first thing it does different is it has a Devil May Cry thing of the better that you attack things, i.e. the wider range of attacks that you use... the better the result of what you get as a pickup. So when you defeat a monster, it leaves behind like its carcass, and you either smash it to a bloody pulp by using the same action over and over again, or you do it perfectly like you would in Devil May Cry, and it gives you a better reward. So it encourages you using the system quite well. So that's clever. Secondly, it has a system where you grow things. It's not very sophisticated, but it's there and it's good, where you collect seeds along the way and you plant them in certain areas in the level and it produces for you. And then that changes as the game goes on as well, because you've created this plant. I've not seen the full extent of it, but I think it's going somewhere. And that ties into the loop system. So it's a little bit of a roguelike, in that when you die, you lose your abilities and you have to go and pick them up. Now, you can get these tokens that allow you to lock an ability in place so that on your next round, you still have it. But they are limited, there aren't just infinite number of them. And you power up using health as well. So you've got to decide, do I use this health, or do I try and get to the next save state and spend the health points on, upgrading myself? So, there's a few quirks that gameplay-wise make it very different. The biggest difference are the visuals. Now, they are absolutely bananas. It's really worth calling out because it doesn't look like anything else, really. It's full-on psychedelia. It reminds me of, 1970s, album cover art,
Yeah, death metal kind of stuff, isn't it?
That kind of thing. And sort of bands like Yes and Hawkwind and all of those kind of, all of those experimental kind of prog rock stuff.
Yeah, my uncle had all these on vinyl by the looks of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. It's one of them, and it really feeds into the mood, because obviously you think about Metroid, and it's very it's isolated and alien, and you think about Castlevania, and it's spooky and baroque, and this is just like a kind of visual overload, and it's kind of very like messy as well. It's deliberately visually messy. There's like you can deliberately splatter stuff, like not just the enemies, but you can smash things in the background and stuff goes everywhere. And it's obviously a very deliberate design to make it, quite unique and quite, visceral sort of thing. It's a really curious game, and I'm really quite impressed by what they've done with it, to be honest with you. And gameplay wise, it's fun and it's engaging. I'm not a big fan of the whole loop and roguelike thing with it. I don't think it's strictly necessary in this game. I think they could have done without it. It would have been absolutely fine. But that said, even with that in place, it's really quite intriguing, and you do want to see more. That visual style, like Hollow Knight, it's like the polar opposite other end of the visual world from Hollow Knight, which is so stripped back, but it has that same thing of you want to explore, you want to see more. So it's a really curious game, but really worth checking out.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's been on my wish list and off my wish list and on my wish list and off my wish list, and I've never been quite, do I want to keep it on? Then it came out, I looked at it and went, oh no, I'm off again. I've just put it back on again. Because it's got something, but I wasn't sure. I thought, it's just another Dead Cells, and hearing it's not just another Dead Cells has kind of piqued my interest again. Because visually it looks so cool. It does look really, really cool, and unlike, I think you're right. It's the polar opposite of Hollow Knight, in that it could actually be a good game as well. Although he didn't. Oh,
we are on the same page on this. I did not.
Yeah, Hollow Knight's alright.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
I kind of I played Hollow Knight, and first of all I was like, oh, I don't get it, and then I got it, and I was like, oh my god, this is really good, and then I was like, oh god, can we hurry up?
That's the exact same journey I went on. Honestly, exactly the same. Yeah.
But it's Hollow Knight's a good game. I don't get the fuss. I'm hoping the second one doesn't come out this year, because I've got it in my Fantasy Critic League as an alt pick. That if it doesn't do well, I get points, or if it doesn't come out, I get points. I reckon the developers have realised, oh crap, we can't turn this into a good game. It's just more the same. It's like being stuck 4 hours into Hollow Knight. How do we change this? This looks fun and interesting. And do you know what? I want to see more games made to look like 80s and 70s, like video covers and album covers and stuff like that, because that's when artists had fun. I'm a graphic designer, and I forgot how to have fun with design. I want to see someone make a Mega Man game style game, but using the original Mega Man cover art. That would be just so cool.
Be fun. Yeah,
I know. Right, come on. Ultros is close to that. With obviously, it's not like the really bad video game art aesthetic, but it's like playing like something akin to a Metallica. Original before they became big type album. It's back on. Price wise, that puts me off a little bit at the moment. Price always comes into it when you get to like Christmas time, before and after. Price is something I really have to consider, and I hate having to do it. 20 quid seems fair, but bit too steep to, do you know what, I'll give it a go price.
Yes, it is a little steep. I managed to get it for around, I think, 13 or 14 off. I can't remember. It might have been, Fanatical or Green Man Gaming or whatever.
Oh, one of the good ones.
Yeah, one of the good ones. It's not a dodgy one.
Yeah. I got it with a stolen credit card off a G2A. What?
Yeah, precisely. I stole it out of some kid's lunchbox. But no. I got. So have a look around. Have a look on like gg.deals or whatever, and see if you can get it cheaper if you're interested. Yeah, it's definitely worth looking up.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'll wait till I get it in a sound. Nothing to do with the game's quality, by the sounds of it, but purely because I've got plenty on, and I'm waist deep into Balatro at the moment, which I'm not going to talk about today because I've already written about it. I'm going to write more, and I will be talking about it throughout the year. What I will just say though is Balatro by Balatro. I kind of wanted to do this thing because I was going to talk about it. I realised, oh crap, I can't just talk about Balatro because I've got so many other games I need to actually cover. But 2024 already feels like the equivalent of you found £1 in 2023 and on the street, just laying there, you found £1, you went into WH Smith, you bought a scratch card, you forgot to scratch off the scratch card, and then in 2024 you found it in your coat pocket, you scratched it off and won a tenner. Because that's how 2024 is feeling already in terms of video games.
Yeah, it's there's a few good things piquing my interest, I have to say. Yeah, it's getting there.
Even some of the big boys are doing well. You know, you take out Suicide Squad and I think one of the other ones out of it. But like the new Final Fantasy, the old new Final Fantasy, I don't know, whatever, the remake, reimagining, whatever it is. Apparently that's doing really, really well. Even games like your Ultros here, and I say your Ultros like you made it. Ultros is like 9 out of 10s that I'm looking at the reviews. Quadroids is a really, really good game. The one I spoke about, I forgot his name, Banishers. That's getting 8s and 9s out of 10s. And that's something I'm going, it's definitely not going to be near the Game of the Year contenders because that's how good already it's been. And Balatro is, Balatro's good. I'm going to talk about that more next week because, Stu.
Yes.
Have you finished talking about Ultros? I didn't even give you a chance to say I'm done.
I'm done.
Good. My final game of this week is one I've had for a good couple of weeks and sort of not sure how I feel about it, in a good way. So it's called Solium Infernum. And it's a kind of political grand strategy 4X civilization type game. Where you take, it's called like the infernal throne, so like I suppose you're like the god of the underworld in a way, you know, it's like you are the prince of darkness or whatever, you've taken over that role, and there's warring factions, and so first of all, what I like about this is essentially civilization-esque. Okay, but rather than going down the look all the old timey and like look, it's like real world people and stuff like that, it's gone screw all that. Metal cover. It seems to be a theme this week. It's like this has gone for like Metallica. They've made a bit of their money, so they're going full on devil art now. That's what this game is to Civilization. Yeah. Basically, you go through, and you've essentially got to expand with your faction. I can't remember what they actually call them in there, but basically you get your faction. There's loads of other different factions playing, and you've got to basically spread out, and you've got to be the one who controls the board. Essentially, you've got to control the world, and you do that by doing various different tasks. Now, you could do it by going to war. You could do it politically. You could do it by completing tasks and being the one who carries favour with the Grand Master, Mistress, person. You could interact with people. You could do trade deals. All that stuff that comes with these kind of political strategy for 4X style games. It's all in there, but with an underworld tone to it. And I don't get it. I'm not very good at it. But at the same time, yes, I'm not very good at it, but my first playthrough, I was like, I don't get this at all. I don't know what I'm what. Oh, God, I don't know if I'm going to talk about this. I looked up and I stuck 8 hours into it. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't win. Yeah. I didn't even know if I was close to winning. But I somehow stuck 8 hours into it. I was like, okay. What?
God,
how did that happen?
Yeah, they're pretty rare, them. Yeah, it's nice when those come along.
And it wasn't a case of I wasn't enjoying it. The turn-by-turn stuff that you do is fine. It's absolutely fine. It's all there, and that's all really well done. The fact it's dark, I think, really helps because it's easy to read, which helps things. Yeah. And I think the story that's in there as well. They say it's inspired by Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost, which I think I know of Paradise Lost, but it's not something that resonates with me. But from what I understand and from what I remember, it is a very, very, very dark and interesting poem that tells quite the story. So if you're basing it off of something like that, then yeah, do you know what? Fair enough. And yeah, I really, really enjoy it. Visually, it's really good. The gameplay's really fun. You get the idea of it. I'm just not very, very good at it. It's by League of Geeks, who some people might know, but unless you're into their games, you might not know. So they done one of my favourite video game-based board games called Armello, which is, again, it's a board game. You roll dice, you do your things, you take your turns, and you've got to basically complete these tasks to win the board. But it uses, what's that thing called, where you've got animals, but they're almost like human-like in their thing.
Anthropomorphic.
That's the one, not animatronic. That's the word. I knew it wasn't animatronic, but I couldn't think of what it was. And that was really, really good. It's one of those games that's been out for, Jesus Christ, nearly 10 years now, which blows my mind. I still thought it was in early access. It's not. It's been out for like 10 years. And I really enjoyed it. They also have an early access game called Jump Light Odyssey, which I covered for the podcast last year, which I don't think much of. There's a lot wrong with it, but it's still early access. But again, the trappings of that are in here, but they seem to have taken whatever was wrong with Jump Light Odyssey and whatever was right with Armello. They've kind of learned from both of those and produced what is, I think, probably their current piece de resistance. I don't know what that was. I don't know why I decided to French it up there. But yeah, they've taken from both those games, the negative and the positive, and then added it to this, and it's a really, really solid game that I said, I'm rubbish at, but I've wasted 8 hours on. Actually, I've wasted about 15 hours on now, because I went back and played more, and lost another 8 hours, nearly. So take that as you will, as to whether it's a good game or not. For me, yes, it's a good game mechanically. Is it a good game in terms of what you could do with it? I haven't got a clue. All I know is, if you're getting me to waste 15 hours of my life on a game that I don't know what I'm doing in, words, then, yeah, must be doing something right.
Absolutely. Yes, that's the proof of the pudding being in the eating. And you're eating it, and you're not stopping eating it. So that's a winner.
Yeah. And they've taken a risk as well. This is their first big price game. It's 30 quid. Just over 30 quid. Which I think is like twice the price of Armello and 3 times the price of Jump Light Odyssey. So, but there's, I would argue, it's got 3 times the content. Looking at it so far in there, so yeah. Fair play to them. It looks really good. I'm glad I've got it. I don't get it fully, but I'm probably going to go in again at some point because it's got its claws in. So cool. Yeah.
Ah, good stuff. Yeah, sounds like an intriguing one.
What I will say, though, this week, play Balatro. Have you heard of Balatro yet, Stu?
I very much have, yeah. It seems to be taking everyone by storm, yeah.
Yes. Have you played it, Stu? I dare say you haven't, because it's not your type of a game, I don't
Do you know, I was so kind of impressed by what everyone was saying that I was going to try the demo, but the demo doesn't seem to be available now that it's got released, so I couldn't get it.
Because I do wonder if the demo would absolutely cannibalise
some of the sales,
the actual full game. Yeah, because it's a demo that is so feature rich. I wondered what the full game could offer to make the demo not worthwhile having. It does, trust me. The full game is like, oh my god, the demo is literally scratching the surface. Stu, it's do you understand poker?
Not really, no.
Okay. Do you understand cards? What a card is?
I do, yes.
and that they go from ace to king.
I do.
You know what numbers are.
I have a basic relationship with numbers.
You know what a poker hand is, essentially.
Yeah,
you know what a pair is, a two pair, etc. Yeah, basically, this is why it's so much better than any other deck builder ever released. And don't forget, I love myself a deck builder, Stu. Right, and if I'm saying this is absolutely miles better than anything, you can take that one to the bank where Ron Jeremy works, if you want.
Nice callback.
I know. I don't even plan these, honestly. Honestly, I don't. The only thing I had notes, I had to remember what my dream seat order was, because I didn't know if it actually had any bearing in the order, so I did make some notes on the order of where he worked in my dreams. Anyway, basically, as long as you can understand what a pair is, two pair is, the guy who made this is a lone developer. And he basically said he wanted to make a game. There's no story, so there's no gubbins in there. Yet somehow it feels like there is, but without it getting in the way, because you create it in your head. Because the way the Jokers are created and their look, it feels like there should be a story in a way. And the way he has little comments at the end of a run and stuff, it's really cleverly done. But it's like the descriptions of what Jokers do, and how they buff your hands and your runs and stuff like that, are so concise and so short. So it'll go, if you've got even cards, then you'll get an extra 4 times multi, or 4+4 multiplier to your hands. If you've got this type of card, you'll get 30 extra chips to add to your score before it's multiplied. So it's really simple as well. And it's that simplicity and the just the little touches he's made. So, and again, this is really, really good. I've not touched this. You unlock cards as you go. Okay, and the more you play, the more you unlock. Some cards are difficult to unlock, some are really easy, some require you to get really deep into the game, which is fine. What's one thing, right? Do you know when episode's got so many unlocks that it requires you to play stupidly amount of hours to discover stuff in a game you've bought? What's one thing you would like to see in those games?
Don't know, what would I like to see?
A nice unlock all button that does nothing, doesn't punish you, just unlocks everything.
Oh, very nice.
Everything you can discover, it just goes, there you go, you can have that.
Wow.
Oh, no. Fair play. And yeah, so he goes, this is the game I envisage, and part of the fun is unlocking everything. But if you don't want to do that, because you have FOMO and stuff or whatever, if you don't want that, just unlock it all. Off you go. What an accessibility option. I could go, there's no dark mode or anything like that. I've not had any issues with looking at the cards, because they're playing cards, and I know what a playing card is from memory as well. I get it. When I see them, even if I can't see them properly, if I'm having a bad eye day, and I see a 3 of diamonds, for me, it's either 3 of diamonds or 3 of hearts. There's ways of just being able to differentiate enough. So, again, that barrier's not there. And so I can't even really pick on the accessibility options that are missing. The flow of the game, the way it goes, the way the buffs work, the debuffs work. It uses the idea of blinds as levels, which anyone who plays poker knows, but even if you've never played poker, you don't really need to know. It's just like the first, it gets higher each time you go. Every third level, there's a boss. It just uses the word blind because people who play poker know what a blind is. And it's not insulting me. Okay? But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. I didn't want to talk about it today, but it's that good that I can't help myself. I'm going to be doing a full write-up. It was part of the Indie Game Roundup. I'm going to be doing a full write-up on the game as well. It's spoilers, it's going to be my game of the month. I don't know what Stu's will be. It's my game of the month. It's going to be in that. I'll probably do some video streams of it at some point that I'll add onto YouTube, show you how good it is on the deck. It's on Switch and everything else as well. I don't know if it's on Game Pass. I don't know if you can just test it on Game Pass. You can check that out, Stu. And it's just, I've always said there's no such thing as a perfect game. Something's testing my resolve with this one. Wow. Because I can't find any single negative with it. You've just got to know that, well, if I put a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together, they go in sequence and that's a straight. because that tells me that's a straight as well. So I've learned, okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even if I didn't know what a straight was before, it's told me, oh, if you press this button, it actually tells you how good that ranks and whether it's worth getting. And it's just every little bit. I say there's no criticism of the game. But I can't look at it and go, oh yeah, but there's this, which I like to do with great games. Just go, there is this that could, it's perfect. It's perfect. And yeah, I didn't want to speak about it. I was only going to do 30 seconds, Stu. I'm really, really sorry.
No worries. We'll have to wrap it up, though.
Yes. Right. I'm so in that, I was going to do a full outro and talk about other bits, but I'll shut up now as long as you buy Balatro.
Well, I will eventually. I'm not sure when, but I will get it. Yeah. We'll wait to see. But it certainly sounds great. But yeah. So that will do it for the week. As usual, follow all our content. Make sure that you go onto the socials and check us out. Go onto the website, look at all the reviews and stuff like that. And join us on Discord if you want to chat. And apart from that, for the rest of the week, stay safe and stay sane.